Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're really happy that you joined us today. Hey, Keith, what do we have going on this week?
Well, got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the big thing we had this week was our residential protection plan. And we had quite a few renewals the beginning of the month here, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and then we had some crazy bad luck with some Dells that we're going to talk about. But you know what? We always win in the end of the day, so we'll talk about that as well. Yeah. And then, Jennifer, we had some pretty exciting stuff going on the bench, didn't we?
Yeah, had quite a few.
Yeah, and typically, what was it, Jennifer? Was it the Mr. McAfee thing going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of McAfee problems.
That's right. But was it really McAfee?
No.
Absolutely not. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and then talk a little bit about some internet options, right? Yeah, we had some people that were having a little bit of difficulty with really crummy internet just because of where they live. Does not seem fair. Not fair at all. But in between then and now, we're going to just spend the 15 seconds with our shameless plug for the Residential Protection Plan.
The Residential Protection Plan by Honorbound IT is the best support and service for home computer users. You get top-notch antivirus, backup, and remote support. Plus, if you need in-store service, it's free. Visit us at 109 Norris Avenue, McCook, or call 877-686-6642. Your digital peace of mind starts here.
Welcome back. Hey, Keith, we had a literal ton of renewals for the Residential Protection Plan, right?
Yeah, literal ton. That's a ton is 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, well, maybe not pounds, but we had a lot.
We had a few.
Yeah, quite a few folks. And Keith, typically we contact people about, 45 days at a time for renewal?
Yep. Usually the month before. When they sign up for the plan, for instance, the people who signed up in April, 11 months later, after they signed up, they get, we just automatically send them an email letting them know it's that time again. And if they're interested or if, they're happy with the service, we'd love to have them sign up again.
Yep.
And I think you said we had 4 or 5.
Oh, I think we had more than that.
More than that.
Yeah, I'm sure because we had a couple new ones too, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
People that came on that, they want that antivirus that's monitored and taken care of by us. They want that, make sure that their machines are patched and up to date all the time so that we can keep the security up. They want the backup. But most of all, the most value that people get out of our protection plan is that they can call any one of us and get support, right?
Yeah, the remote support, that's probably been the biggest value of the protection plan, because you can go and you get antivirus and backup. You can just back up yourself. That stuff you can do all on your own. But the problem with the antivirus is, if you're buying antivirus from one of those big companies and you have a question about something with your antivirus, getting in touch with them, you're probably going to have to go through an automated system. You're going to, click one and it's impossible to get to a real person.
Well, and it's going to have to be specific to to antivirus. If you have any question outside of antivirus, even if you're lucky enough to find their phone number, because they try very hard not to give their phone number out. Yeah. You're going to have a hard time getting any kind of help outside of that as well, right?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, even if they do have a way to get in touch, chat support or send them an email and they'll get back to you later. And, sometimes people just, they're trying to do something right then and there. And so, the value for what we have is we have a phone number that you can call. We give you the phone number. We give you our business cards with the phone number in it. We put an icon on your computer that you can click and easily create a ticket if that's what you need to do. But you can always give us a call. And that's a lot of the people that actually sign up for the Residential Protection Plan. That's probably one of the biggest reasons that they sign up for it, is that they can actually pick up the phone and call somebody that lives in the same area with them, somebody that they know, somebody that they can actually walk into the storefront. That's another benefit. You can't walk into those big antivirus or backup, vendors. You can't just walk into their store. And if you could, how far do you have to go to get there to do that? So for us being in Southwest Nebraska, McCook, Nebraska particularly, if you're in town, you can drive up to our store at 109 Norris Avenue and actually come into the front door between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and talk to one of us here in the store, a real human being, and get the answers that you're looking for when you need them.
That's right. And then, like, if you live outside of the area, we have a lot of folks that they have to drive a considerable distance to get here. Like if you're in Benkelman or if you're in Imperial or you're somewhere where it really is a pain in the butt, to actually drive from point A to point B, we can remotely assist you. So bottom line is it really shortens up the I have a problem to the solution considerably, and then if it's a really big deal, and you can't get on the internet, because most of the stuff we were able to handle remotely without, you having to come here. But if it's a really big deal, then at least you have somewhere to go to get the help that you need. So, yeah, it's been a really successful program. And, we did build it out primarily because the bad guys are continuously putting pop-ups and scams online, right?
They're everywhere.
Those 800 number pop-ups, they're all the time. Or I've actually seen. Have you had customers that come in and say, "I got a phone call from somebody saying that they were from Microsoft and that there was a problem with the computer"? Mm-hmm. And the trouble is that if you let those people fool you into getting onto your computer, then you're in for another heap of trouble. So it's better to have somebody that you know and trust take care of you. And we're happy to do that. So if you have any questions about the residential protection plan, we're here and happy to help you out.
Yeah, and it all starts with a lot of these people who signed up for us. They actually brought their computer in for service. And we do service on the bench. We can do extensive testing and things like that. But in order to prevent them from coming back or make it their next visit easier, the protection plan, like you said, the remote support, if they live, 15, 20 minutes away, that saves them, nearly an hour of just back and forth driving. And, a lot of times the problem that can be fixed is, a 5-minute call, so that's another big benefit of it. You save time, you save money, and you're back to doing what you're doing on your computer with, worry-free and people that got your back.
Well, we've had actually some clients, like some of our more distant clients out of the bunch, out of Iowa, Wyoming, because we have the ability to get on the internet if you happen to move or whatever, or you just like watching this and you decide that you want to have somebody like us support you. We're happy to help. It's just give us a direct message. We're happy to help you whatever way we can, right?
That's what we do.
So, Jennifer, you had like a big issue this week with the fake antivirus, didn't you?
I did. I had a bunch of phone calls for that.
And you were able to were most of those people on the residential protection?
Most of them are, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you handle that, Jennifer?
Well, I can get onto their computer and go to their notification settings, and that's where I can take them off at.
That's right. Perfect. Good deal. And, we see that all the time, those fake antivirus. And now they're starting to do one where it actually puts pop-ups in the notifications in the Windows notifications, right, Keith? Because we noted that was starting to be like a new behavior that was happening, and we know how to clean that up. So If you're getting unwarranted issues from or unwarranted pop-ups from, McAfee is typical, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's the most popular one that the bad guys want to use because it's the one that is the software, the antivirus software that comes with most computers.
Yeah, it's pre-installed on HP laptops that are purchased for home use. So if you get a laptop from a store, typically it's going to come with a trial or like a free subscription for 30 days to an antivirus provider. And then once that 30 days is up, then they want you to buy. And that's fine. If you're comfortable with that, go ahead and buy it. But if you're not buying it and you're continuously seeing these pop-ups about, like McAfee or a Norton saying that your computer is infected, chances are there's actually something else going on, and it's not a true virus. It's something else.
And to be honest with you, they sort of pre-program you for that because, like, I bought a Lenovo laptop, and the Lenovo laptop came with a 30-day McAfee virus. Now, I don't use that because I don't really think that it's a very good one. But I get a lot of emails because I registered my Lenovo laptop from Lenovo and McAfee from like the various vendors that supplied software for my new laptop. And so if you were uninitiated in the IT world, you would think that this is something that maybe comes from that company. But actually, it absolutely does not. You'll see that it comes from some GoAd services or whatever, but it's in such tiny print that you'd never, if you weren't really paying attention, you wouldn't notice it. So you get all of these because I've registered my laptop with Lenovo, and I get all of these, what I would consider spam emails to try to get me to extend my free subscription. I'm thinking that because if I was uninitiated, I get a pop-up and it's using a McAfee logo. It's 100% exactly like a McAfee logo, but it's not McAfee. It's really frustrating for us. But because we end up having to, turn off all of these notifications for clients. But if you have that issue, give us a call. We know how to deal with it. And we know how to give you real antivirus. So give us a call. We're happy to help you whatever way we can.
Yep. And that's the other trick is, because it's not a virus and it's not malware, that's how it's able to get onto your computer and bypass all of those security checks that an antivirus would have, because what they want you to do is click or call this number, and that's called social engineering, where they trick you into doing something that you probably shouldn't do. And that's the way that a lot of the spam emails, the phishing emails, where you update your address, type in your password here to get notifications, things like that. That's how they get around these antivirus programs, is they're actually making you do something. And when you open the door to let the people in, the antivirus doesn't work like that. It blocks the malicious files that you download. So if something comes from the internet that you're installing on your computer, the antivirus will actually check that. And our antivirus does real-time scanning. So if you sign up for their protection plan, you get that included and all the other benefits that go along with that as well. But if you're installing a file from the internet, or, you're working on a file and it becomes infected somehow, the antivirus works like that. But when you're actually having to call a number or click a link, that's why your antivirus might not be working. And those are things that we help people identify as well.
Yeah, because if somebody has a question, somebody just doesn't smell right, doesn't look right, oh, I've got the residential protection plan, I already have antivirus, why am I getting these pop-ups still? Then at least you have somebody that you know and trust that you can call, right? Mm-hmm. That's the big deal. So beyond that, we had kind of a really tricky problem this week, didn't we, Keith? We had a rash of computers. It was really only 4, but we had a rash of computers that they would only come up to like a Dell logo and then they wouldn't boot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the problem was all these computers were, I think they were less than a year old.
Mm-hmm.
And, all the clients that had them, there's this one specific model of computers that we had sold for a while. And every client that had that computer got a bad update from Dell, and it made their computer stop working. And
Actually, it was a Windows update.
it was a Windows update.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
But even Dell didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Because we have a couple clients that are from Fort Collins, and one of the clients had a machine, actually two machines, and the first machine, Dell didn't know what to do with it, and they went, well, it's got to be a bad motherboard, and they replaced the motherboard. And then, within a day or two, we had three other machines, one of them with that same client that was doing the same deal. And then you were away for a day. So I actually had one on the bench that was tinkering with, but this is kind of odd that four machines all at once would do the same thing. Now that doesn't mean that they can't have a common physical problem, but what it ended up being, and it took a little bit of, because it made me mad, and it makes me mad, I have to fix it. And found out that the update that Microsoft was giving was a version that did not apply to those machines. So I learned how to back it off to the original piece of software and then bring it forward to the correct version. And then the really fun part was actually being able to help somebody who lives 4.5 hours that way do it remotely and fix their computer so they're able to get back up and running and go to work. And yeah, that was a fun one. Might take us a little while sometimes to fix a problem, but we always win, right, Keith?
Mm-hmm.
We really always win. But yeah, every machine has its own weakness, and they were not the garden variety, cheap old big box specials, were they?
Nope. And like I was saying, they were all under warranty. So the first couple that we had, the problem, is like, while rare, it is possible that, like you said, physical failure can happen on, one or two computers. But when you said you're getting four computers, how often do we get four computers, exact same model, all have motherboard failure?
Yeah, it's like,
it's
something smells funny.
It's very, very rare. And like you said, you found an article and you found other people that had reported the problem as well.
Thank you, Reddit.
But yeah, and it's nice that we actually had one here because having something physically in the store where you're able to work on it yourself and not pressure the end user on doing things that they might not have the skill to do. And then when you figured it out here,
then it's knowing the steps.
It's easier to explain to somebody on what to do and having the steps and having a process in place. So, hey, I need you to push this button. Okay, now I need you to do this, instead of blindly trying things over and over and not getting anywhere.
Well, this was a person that actually, they're an end user. They typically don't do this sort of thing. I was pretty proud of myself, to be able to help walk them through. And, the person that used that computer was going to come the next day. And they were very grateful because, they're accountants. And, this time of year, man, our accounting customers, they're just going full tilt. And, even taking, seconds out of their day starts to add up, doesn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, disaster averted. And, because they were all on one plan, or whether it was commercial or personal, I was able to go through our software and filter out and go, who all is going to have this problem? And I had the list of the four that I was going to have to deal with, and then we dealt with them proactively. So really, really nice to be able to do that for folks. And, shorten that time from problem to resolution makes me very happy. And one other thing that we wanted to kind of bring up was like internet options. We have a lot of folks that live like really remote, right? And so a lot of folks have been on some of the satellite internet, and some of the older ones, they don't seem to be cutting it anymore, do they, Keith?
No, technology changes so fast, and unfortunately, where we live, we don't always get the latest and greatest out here as soon as it comes out. So,
well, nobody can afford to bring it to us. So
no, and even when they can afford to bring it, there's processes and there's construction and there's things that you have to go through to actually get the infrastructure built, get it up, and then distribute it out to the people that need it. And while we are thankful that people out in the rural areas have internet, there are some better options available now in 2024.
Yeah, and we found that there's a lot of folks that are on some of those older satellite internets that are, they're starting to struggle. And, Keith ran into a situation the other day where, we literally had to, most of the time we're able to do remote support for folks, but the person was on like one of the really old, probably one of the pioneer satellite internet companies. And while it's, better than nothing, it's still not great. But Keith was unable to actually do remote support for them because the satellites that this company uses, and I don't want to name them, their satellites are too far out. And so what ends up happening is it takes a lot more time for signals to go from Earth to the satellite and back over the internet. And then that's when, we're trying to support you and the connection drops. So, we've actually been recommending Starlink quite a bit. Keith, have you had like a lot of people that have been saying they've been really happy with Starlink?
We have had several clients in the rural areas that have actually gone to Starlink, I think, and they've had a really good experience. We have run across a couple people that, may have, may not have done it the proper way or may have run into some other technical issues. But for the majority of people that we hear about their experience with Starlink, I mean, it's nothing but good stuff. And it's good internet, it's reliable. They're not down. One thing, like you said, with the satellite internets is losing connection. And even, you think about satellite TV, if there's a storm and it's raining or hailing or snowing or something like that, it interferes with your service. And, if you're using your internet and you're trying to go through that, it's terrible. And, the end user might not notice as much, but when when they work with us and we have to do remote connection, we can see those drops pretty quickly because our device will disconnect and have to reconnect, and then it'll reconnect, and then it'll disconnect, and then it'll reconnect, and it'll do it, enough times to where I say, this is going to be so much faster if you just brought it in the store. And I always hate to tell people that, but it's the true. And so, it's one of those things. If you can get a better internet option, Starlink is one of the options available.
And actually, like it's, it doesn't matter what satellite internet you get, you're going to have rain fade or snow fade or whatever, if you've got like rain or atmospheric conditions that are causing problems. But because Starlink is like a low Earth orbit, it's a lot closer to Earth and a lot quicker, and there are a lot more satellites for your dish to roam amongst. You're going to have a lot better experience. And, to be honest with you, like Starlink is not sponsoring this, or we don't really have any, we're not Elon Musk lovers or anything else like that. But, we're just wanting, to give you enough information that you can make a good decision that, hey, listen, if you're not getting everything that you need out of either your fixed wireless internet that is available in certain places, or your older satellite internet like Starlink might be a good choice for you to pick. So we're hoping that this will help at least one person, you know.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do, is to try to help you whatever way we can. And other than that, we like to bring our weekly cat picture, because that's what the internet was developed for, right?
And that's exactly right.
It was developed for cat pictures. And yeah, we still haven't gotten with the Humane Society yet, where they're we're wanting to recommend certain animals be adopted. But this is one of my rescues. His name is Ned, and he's a little bit cross-eyed, isn't he?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And he started as like a white kitty, and like most ragdoll cats, they darken up. And man, he's a lover. He's a big lover, but he likes to love in private. My wife says that you know, he won't like snuggle up with you like on the couch or anything else like that, because that would mean that all the rest of the cats would see him doing it. But when it's bedtime, he jumps onto Peggy's bed and he wants his like little lovins, and that's when he's like really affectionate. But he's nice and soft, and hope you enjoy the picture of my cat. Always like to bring a picture of a cat, because I love cats so much. You have cats too, right?
I have 2 cats.
We need to have pictures of your cats. It's your turn next week.
All right. I'll see if I can get a picture of one of them. I don't see them that much, but
No, they hide.
I know they're there, yeah.
Yeah. Are they skittish?
Well, they just behind the couch, or, you know, in a place that I can't see them immediately. So in the morning, when it's like early, I see them, but
When there's food.
when the food comes out, they do show up. But after that, they're kind of MIA.
And Jennifer, she's a dog person, so
Yep.
yep,
I have 2 dogs.
no cats in her house. Cats outside?
No.
No cats. All right, well, it's time for us to dance our way out of here, right? We can't hear the music, but we can dance. We can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind, because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, they're no friends of mine. Happy weekend. Take care now. See you next week.